Japan's homelessness rate may seem to be going down year by year, and the country may seem to have cracked the code on a problem that seemed unsolvable. But how was Japan able to solve this? What steps did the government take to overcome this problem? Official data spills the beans on Japan's ingenious solution to the homelessness problem. The first thing is that Japan is a whole new ballgame. When it comes to low homelessness rates, countries like Switzerland and Mexico take the cake. But let me tell you, the official explanation country, with its whopping 125 million residents, only has 3,000 homeless individuals. That's like finding a needle in a haystack or a drop in the ocean compared to countries like the US. Well, there are several reasons that are often mentioned as the cause of this abysmally low rate. There is no culture of compassion for homeless people in the country, leaving them out in the cold without a shoulder to lean on. They are often viewed as individuals who have brought their misfortune upon themselves, leaving them to fend for themselves without a helping hand in sight. This is even stronger because the majority of homeless people in Japan are men who are traditionally expected to be self-reliant, and their failure to do so is seen as a red-faced evaluation, both by the public and by themselves. As a result, begging in public is strictly against the law, leaving homeless individuals out of sight and out of mind. Cities such as Tokyo are notorious for employing what is commonly referred to as anti-homeless or hostile architecture, such as locking up parks at night to prevent people from finding a place to rest their heads. What also adds fuel to the fire are some of Japan's unique policies that by a stroke of luck hit the nail on the head in reducing homelessness. In Japan, they have a tight ship when it comes to drug regulations. They have a zero-tolerance policy, making it crystal clear that anything other than alcohol is a big no-no. The consequences for breaking these rules are no joke, with punishments that can be described as throwing the book at you. Consequently, only a mere 1.6% of the Japanese population has ever dabbled in substances other than alcohol, in stark contrast to a whopping 46% of Americans. This goes to show that drug addiction in Japan is as rare as finding a needle in a haystack. Finally, Japan has hit the nail on the head with relatively accessible housing because it's building houses like there's no tomorrow, leaving other developed democratic countries in the dust. But do you know that the truth is often hidden beneath the surface? Their reality is a whole different ballgame, with a dark cloud hanging over it. In Japan, there are countless souls without a place to call home, but they are like a needle in a haystack, tucked away from prying eyes and official records. In the 1990s, Japan found itself in hot water when the stock and real estate markets went belly up, leaving folks high and dry. Securing a stable gig with their fair wage became as rare as hen's teeth, forcing millions to make ends meet with low-paying gigs that were here today and gone tomorrow. Many of them never managed to bounce back, and they became known as Japan's lost generation, individuals with no standing and no foothold in society. As a result, a good number of them couldn't keep a roof over their heads and make ends meet in a reasonably priced Japan. However, they would go to great lengths to steer clear of living on the streets, as they dreaded the disgrace and social stigma that accompanied it. Consequently, the concept of cyber homelessness came into existence. In a nutshell, Japan boasts a sprawling web of round-the-clock internet and manga cafes, where folks shell out by the hour and can linger to their heart's content. Interestingly, since the 1990s, numerous individuals from Japan's lost generation have taken to these establishments and makeshift havens. They don't have beds, but people often catch some sleep in the computer cubicles. Over time, this industry blossomed into its own entity, and nowadays, cyber cafes have essentially become the Japanese equivalent of commercial havens for the homeless, carving out a niche of their own. That's why the government statistics on homeless people in Japan are considered the tip of the iceberg. According to non-government organizations, the government's estimation of the number of people living on the streets in Japan is just the tip of the iceberg. In reality, it's believed to be the tip of the iceberg, with the actual figures being at least 3 times higher. And that's not even scratching the surface, because if we were to throw in the cyber homeless people who camp out in the internet cafes every night for a good chunk of time, the actual figure would be a whole new ballgame.